Hey friends, how's it going? My name is Gabby, welcome back to my channel, and today I have a really exciting and just kind of fun video planned for you. I've been seeing this video circling around booktube lately. I think it started with Meg, and then I've also seen Riley make this video, I've seen Katie and Kayla make this video, and it's basically a 5-star audit, where I kind of go through, like I show you a lot of the books that I've given 5 stars, and we try to figure out what all of my 5-star reads have in common, and we see if I can try to like pin down what certain things will make a book 5 stars for me. I feel like I have a pretty good idea, with my reading taste these days. I feel like I know what kind of things that I look for in books and what things tend to work really well for me in books. So I thought it would just be really interesting to try and create a chart so you can see the different reasons why books might end up being a 5-star read for me. However, before we do jump into today's video, I just wanted to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, which is Factor. Factor makes meeting your nutrition goals easier than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. They have a team of gourmet chefs that create each meal using only ingredients with integrity to help you feel your best all day long. You can choose from over 34 dietitian-approved and chef-prepared weekly options. And these meals all feature really premium ingredients like broccolini and asparagus and all kinds of things. I'm always so impressed by the flavor on these, and I'm also so impressed by like how amazing it is, how quick these are ready. Because you don't always have the time, to want to cook dinner. And I know I certainly don't. And especially like in the summertime, I feel like life just moves a lot faster. And so it's really convenient and it's so nice when you're on the go and you just have a lot going on. You just throw this in the microwave for a few minutes and you have a fresh, incredible tasting, chef prepared meal ready for you in just a few minutes. I think especially if you're really into budgeting and trying to save some money this summer, I think Factor might be the perfect solution for you because not only is it more affordable than takeout, but it's also faster. You don't have to leave your home. It's ready in like 2 minutes. I like too with Factor that there's no prep time and there's no mess afterwards. It just makes eating so much faster and more convenient. I love that with Factor, I can cut down on my grocery trips and my cooking time so I can have time to do my other favorite activities like reading. I also love that Factor is so flexible and that it's really easy to adjust your order size depending on what your week might be looking like. And if you didn't know, Factor is actually now owned by HelloFresh, so there are a variety of different meal plans to choose from. There really is something for everyone. I really enjoy switching between both brands, and it's exciting because you, my subscribers, can also enjoy both brands at a discount. So you can head to factor75.com and use my code gabbyreads50 to get 50% off your first box with Factor. So you can go ahead and click on the link down below, or you can head over to their website, factor75.com, use my code gabbyreads50 for 50% off your first box. Isn't that so exciting? Thank you so much once again to Factor for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get into the 5-star audit, shall we? I do want to share with you the 10 different categories that I have made for myself to put these books into for all of the different reasons that I have figured out why I might give a book 5 stars. So these are the 10 different categories that I'm going to be trying to put all of these books into, and all of the books on this video, these are all going to be books that I've given 5 stars over the last, couple of years or so. I do have some of my all-time favorites included in here as well. I was even trying to add in more books, but this tier thing would not allow me to put in more than 100 books for some reason, so we're sitting at around like 97 books or so. But I figured there's a really good mix of like all kinds of different things that I've given 5 stars throughout this list of books that I have here, so I figured it would give us some good variety. But the 10 different reasons that I have for reasons why I think a book could be 5 stars for me include unhinged characters or mad women. Usually unhinged characters are something that I really love, especially in thrillers and kind of like horror books, but also, any genre. And then the second thing is going to be a relatable protagonist, because some of my all-time favorite books include characters that I've just really connected with and I felt very seen by. I also have the third one is the most beautiful writing that I've ever read, because, sometimes when a book just hits, like that writing hits, I'm talking a lot of like literary fiction that I, really used to get into. Those kind of books, like I mainly love them because the writing really stuck with me and really spoke to me. The fourth thing that I have is, this one's kind of a broad category, but it's fake dating, forbidden romance, or roommates to lovers. I love specific romance tropes in books, and so sometimes like those tropes specifically can really work for me and can really like just elevate the book and make it a 5-star for me, because if the trope is done well, the trope is done well, you know what I mean? The fifth one is going to be made me cry, because if a book can make me cry, then sometimes that's reason enough for it to get 5 stars. If a book can actually make me emotional, me with a black soul, then wow, that's amazing. 5 stars, off the charts. The next one is gonna be surprising plot twists or that it was just really fun. You know, I feel like a lot of times with thrillers, I don't have the most like justifiable reason to give it 5 stars other than like, oh my god, I had so much fun reading it, it was a great time, or the plot twists were just so good, they took me off guard, and I loved it for those reasons. And then the next category is going to be that it had something to say about humanity, or that it kind of like pokes fun at humanity, which is a very specific thing that I really, really love in books, okay? Like this is it's probably not gonna have too many books in this category because it's hard to find books like this, but it's one of my favorite like unique specific things that I love in books. I love when books kind of point out like how ridiculous some things about humanity are, and it just kind of like makes fun of humanity in general and like the weird things that we do. I'm obsessed. I love it. The next one is going to be great sister relationships in books because, you know, I have a sister that I'm very close to. She's literally my best friend, and so I love reading about good sister relationships in books. And if the book has a really, really great sister relationship, that is even more reason for me to want to give it 5 stars. The next one is going to be a powerful coming of age, because I do notice that there is quite a bit of young adult that I've given 5 stars over the years. And usually for me, the reason why a lot of young adult books have gotten 5 stars from me in the past is because of those powerful like coming of age kind of elements in the story. And then the last category is going to be my specific kind of weird, because sometimes, especially with like the horror genre, I don't really know how to explain why something in a book just really worked for me, other than that it was really weird and it was my specific kind of weird that I really like, because I don't like all of the weird. Like there's definitely some weird that does not work for me, but with these books, it is my specific kind of weird that I like. My idea with this is that I'm just gonna start putting books into these categories, and then if for some reason there are any books left at the end, maybe I can try to figure out like a new category to put those into if it doesn't fit into any of these 10 categories, and we can just kind of try to figure out a list of reasons why a book might be 5 stars for me. So let's just get to it, shall we? Because you see, I'm already looking at the first book that I have down here, which is 11/22/63 by Stephen King, and I'm already like, well, shit. I mean, okay, 11/22/63 did make me cry. Like this book made me actually sob at some parts of the book, so I feel like this would totally be like, I gave it 5 stars because it got to me emotionally. And then Aristotle and Dante, you know, this is one where I feel like there's a few books on here that could probably fit into so many of these categories, because I feel like Aristotle and Dante is not only powerful coming of age, it's also some of the most beautiful writing I've ever read. But I think at the end of the day, it's like the relatability of Aristotle as a character that makes this book 5 stars for me. Like Aristotle is just one of my most relatable characters of all time. Like Pen Pal, I want to say my specific kind of weird. You know, this is a horror book, it's very weird. I'm obsessed, I love it. Fangirl, oh my god, okay, here we go. Another one that's like, this could fit into a lot. It could fit into great sister relationship, it could fit into beautiful writing, made me cry. I think though, for me, it is going to be the relatable character element again with Fangirl. Kath is like one of my most relatable characters of all time. The Shuddering, ooh, I want to put this in It Was Fun, because this is one of those horror books where like it is so unserious, but it was just such a fun time that I couldn't not give this one 5 stars. Winter People, I also want to put It Was Fun, I think. Battle Royale, this is another situation where it was just so much fun, way more fun than I was expecting with Battle Royale. You know, Gone Girl, of course, I'm gonna have to put this one in, okay, well, Gone Girl I think would go in the surprising plot twist and It Was Fun, because Gone Girl was like the original one that got me into, you know, reading thrillers in the first place. So yeah, that feels right. Big Little Lies, oh man, okay. This is where I struggle a little bit, because I do want to put it in surprising plot twist and It Was Fun, but I feel like I could also put it in like unhinged characters and Mad Women a little bit. Well, actually Gone Girl, you know what, I'm changing my mind. Gone Girl's going in unhinged characters and Mad Women, because I mean, do I need to explain? Okay, and then that feels right that I would put Big Little Lies in, you know, It Was Fun, but Gone Girl's like unhinged, you know? Okay, and see, The Humans, this is exactly what I mean about has something to say about humanity and makes fun of humanity. The Humans is exactly that bitch, and I love it for those reasons, because The Humans is like about an alien that like judges humanity, and it's so funny, and it's just like my favorite. I love it. The Nightingale is the most perfect example of a great sister relationship, but also could definitely fall into made me cry like a little bitch. The Butcher was just so much fun. Like, The Butcher was a great time. We Are the Ants! Okay, this is another one that's had something to say about humanity and makes fun of humanity and kind of talks about how we are the ants in the universe. Like, we are just little small specks that like don't even matter. Okay, Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. See, this is one that is a thriller, And I do think the writing in this book is very intense. It's very dark. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna put this in great sister relationship because the freaking relationship between the sisters in this book actually made me cry. Like, it's one of the only thrillers that have made me cry. So this one could also fit into a number of different categories, but at the end of the day, the sister relationship is where it's at for me. Okay, and then we have Him by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy, and this is gonna go into the romance part because I am obsessed with this romance. I love them so much. And it's not necessarily like fake dating, but it definitely has that forbidden romance vibe, and they're definitely like a roommates to lovers situation happening in this book. And then A Little Life, oh my gosh, do I even, like, this is another one that could fit into a lot, but I think I'm going to put it in the most beautiful writing that I've ever read in my life. Absolutely gorgeous writing, like just absolutely stunning. Okay, and then we have The Troop, which has gotta be my specific kind of weird because there are so many people that let me know that they've read that book because of me and they absolutely hate it. So it's definitely my specific kind of weird. I think Behind Her Eyes has gotta be one of the most surprising, plot twisty, fun books that I've ever read, so it's gonna go there. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo? Oh man, okay, wow. This is where I do struggle because I think I'm gonna put it in the most beautiful writing I've ever read, even though I don't know, like I kind of want to put it in like the Mad Women like category a little bit, just because Evelyn Hugo is like one of those like iconic characters to me that's just like considered a mad woman, but she was just like so incredible. Like, I don't know, I could also put this in Made Me Cry, because Evelyn Hugo did make me cry. I remember it made me cry quite a bit. Oh, I'm so tired. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it in Made Me Cry for now. We'll come back to it. A House at the Bottom of a Lake. This is definitely my specific kind of weird. And then Heart's Invisible Furies. This is definitely gonna go into the most beautiful writing that I've ever read. I feel much like A Little Life. I feel very similarly about this book, where it's just like you're following a character for like the span of their whole life, and it's really beautiful and really heartbreaking and just so wow. 5 stars. The Butterfly Project. Okay, this one is one of my top favorite roommates to lovers tropes that I've ever read in my life. Like, I'm such a sucker for the roommates to lovers trope that it's ridiculous. And then Kill Creek. Oh my gosh, where would I put Kill Creek? Okay, Kill Creek I feel like has got to go into like I had fun. There's also so many reasons why I love Kill Creek. I feel like I should have added a category that's like I love books that are about authors or that are kind of like meta in that way. But for now, it's just gonna go in. It was fun. Little Fires Everywhere is definitely some of the most gorgeous writing that I've ever read in my life, and that is the main reason why I love that book. Same with Any Man. Okay, Any Man. I think Any Man also has to go in the most beautiful writing I've ever read, because holy shit, Any Man is probably like my favorite book that I've read this year. Stolen Tongues, I think Stolen Tongues is one that I need to skip for now, because I'm just thinking like I could put it in my specific kind of weird, but the main reason why I love this one as much as I did is because it scared the shit out of me. And so then Jar of Hearts we're gonna do next. Jar of Hearts was a fun time. I just had a lot of fun with Jar of Hearts. I thought it was so ridiculous and unhinged. Now, Cabin at the End of the World is definitely my specific kind of weird, and same with Foe by Ian Reid. These two are definitely like my specific kind of weird. Like, they're not gonna work for everyone kind of books, but I just really enjoyed them. The Dream Daughter is one that made me cry. This made me cry like a little bitch. And this one's also really cool because it involves some like, I don't know, like time travel elements, which was really fun to read about. The One by John Mars is one of my favorite kind of like plot twisty like books. Like, this book was just so entertaining and so much fun. Same with The Silent Patient. I feel like, okay, this category is gonna get very overwhelmed because a lot of the times, like, the reason why I will give a thriller 5 stars is either because of the plot twist or I had fun. Like, that is just how it works for me with thrillers. Heartstopper, I want to put Heartstopper in powerful coming of age. I feel like Heartstopper, it has such like, it's so freaking endearing and wholesome and sweet. Red, White, and Royal Blue. Okay, this has got to go into the like forbidden kind of romance and like the fake dating situations. Like, I love Red, White, and Royal Blue. Okay, Lock Every Door is going to be, it was fun. Yeah, I think Lock Every Door was very fun. Verity, see, I'm torn between putting Verity in like either just fun or like my specific kind of weird. I don't think Verity's weird enough though to put it in the weird category. So I think I'm just gonna put it in it was fun, because Verity was very fun. And then The Turn of the Key was also very fun. Okay, Loveless was relatable protagonist, because Loveless is one of the most relatable books of all time for me, because Loveless actually follows an asexual main character, and it was like I think the first book that I had ever read that featured an asexual main character, and I just felt so incredibly seen by that book, so that book will always be 5 stars for me. Long Bright River, this is one where it's the great sister relationship that I really just absolutely love about this book. And also, how cool is it that this whole tier is blue? What a moment. Pet Sematary, okay, Pet Sematary is one that I think I'm gonna have to save as well, because again, I could put it in my specific kind of weird, but that doesn't really feel right. Mallory, okay, I think Mallory was fun. I think Mallory was a 5 star for me just because it was so much fun. Okay, we have The Roommate, which is of course roommates to lovers trope. Hello, my favorite. Top Secret, oh my gosh. Okay, this one is also kind of like a roommate situation because it's a romance between these 2 guys who are living in the same frat house, and they both have to share like the room or like the floor or like the top space. I don't know. They share space and they're roommates to lovers, and I'm obsessed with it. Oh my gosh, The Maidens. Okay, The Maidens was just fun. It was just a fun time. I know not a lot of people love The Maidens. I am very alone in these feelings, but I really enjoyed The Maidens. It was a 5 star for me, and I think it was mostly because of how much fun I had while reading it. Okay, Felix Ever After is definitely powerful coming of age. Like, this is the type of young adult shit that I will just eat this shit up. Like, I love it so much. The Hunting Wives is pure entertainment. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh, okay, The Death of Vivek Oji. This is gonna be another thing that's like one of the most beautiful writing that I've ever read in my life. And it's also, oh my god, this one could also go into Made Me Cry because this book had me sobbing at the very end. But I think for now, I connect more with like the writing, or at least I remember giving this book 5 stars because I was like, this is so gorgeously written. Okay, Playing Nice is another one of those thrillers that like, it was a fucking fun time. One of the most unique thriller premises I think that I've ever read. It was so awesome. A Lot's Away, oh my gosh, okay, this is gonna be another one where it's like relatable protagonist, you know? I know this one is kind of unique as well for me to put it here because this one is a little bit more on the fantasy side of things, or it has like some magical elements to this story. But A Lot's Away, like the character Ellie in this book is a very relatable protagonist for me, and I think that's the main reason why this book ended up being 5 stars for me. And then we have A Good Marriage, which was also just, it was fun for me to read. Night of the Mannequins, though, definitely my specific kind of weird, oh my gosh, that book is wild. Grown is like one of those really powerful kind of coming of age, just kind of like, I don't know, really sad young adult books, but it's really stuck with me a lot over the years. Take a Hint, Danny Brown. This one involves some fake dating, which is, you know, top tier for me. I enjoyed this one even more than the first book with Chloe Brown. The Danny Brown book, the sequel, oh, it just hits even harder for me. In My Dreams I Hold a Knife is so much fun. Definitely like one of my favorite kind of like fun thrillers to read. Oh my gosh, okay, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This has got to go into the most beautiful writing that I've ever read. I mean, this one could also fit into Made Me Cry, I think, but the most beautiful writing that I've ever read in my life is Addie LaRue. Like, that is just that book. Home Before Dark was an incredibly fun time. Same with They Never Learn. Okay, but They Never Learn needs to go right into Unhinged Mad Women because, you know, They Never Learn. We follow a female protagonist who is a serial killer. The Nesting was also a really fun time. I would always recommend The Nesting to anybody who enjoyed The Turn of the Key because their plots are just so similar, and I just had a really fun time with both. Oh my gosh, Written in the Stars. This is fake dating. It's one of my favorite fake dating romances with these 2 girls. Oh, it is just so precious. The Patient, okay, this is another one that I'm gonna skip because I don't know if you see a theme here with these 3 books, but they all have something in common that I can't fit it anywhere else on this list. Luster is some of the most beautiful writing that I've ever read in my freaking life. I loved Luster so much more than I thought I was going to. This one also has a pretty relatable protagonist for me. The Midnight Library, oh man. I think this is also gonna go into like beautiful writing because that's really like what I took away from this book was like, wow, the quotes, the writing, the moments. Layla's definitely gonna go in my particular specific kind of weird. And then Almond is another one of those books where, okay, I think I wanna put Almond in the most beautiful writing I've ever read because this is another one where it was just like, I was annotating it left and right, you know, like I was making so many notes. Gone to See the Riverman has to be my specific kind of weird. This one's actually an extreme horror book, and it's probably the only extreme horror book that I've enjoyed so far, I think. Oh, The Push. God, I don't know if I can fit The Push into any of these. I almost want to put The Push into, like, it had something to say about humanity, but almost in a way that's, like, different from these other 2 books. Like, this one, it had something to say about motherhood, specifically. and why like motherhood is not always a good idea for like every woman and like the struggles of motherhood. And so I feel like this one, I'll put it in that category of had something to say about humanity, but I mean it in a slightly different way than the other two books that are in that category. The Brightlands is definitely my specific kind of weird. I fucking love the Brightlands. And then same with We Need to Do Something. This is also my specific kind of weird. The Four Winds is one that made me cry. Oh my god, the ending of this book just had me bawling my fucking eyes out. Finlay Donovan is Killing It is just a fun time. Like, that's all there is to it, really. Like, it's nothing deeper than that. I had such a fun time with Finlay Donovan. It's great. Crossroads is another one that also made me cry. Like, this is a literal horror novella. It is so short, and it made me cry at the end of this book. Like, what the heck? The X-Talk is going into the fake dating forbidden romance category because even though they're technically, I don't think they're fake dating in this, but they're pretending to be exes for their like radio talk show, which feels a lot like fake dating, which meant I absolutely loved it. I've been wanting to reread the X-Talk now for like a couple of years. I should make that happen. Oh my god, okay, Shipt is another one that is like one of my favorite romance books. And this one's more of a, it's more of like a close proximity kind of romance, which is also like one of my favorite tropes, which I could also just add on to that tier, by the way. Close proximity, one of my favorite like romance tropes. Oh my god, Project Hail Mary. Where would I put this? I mean, okay, I feel like Project Hail Mary, I could put it in It Was Fun, because it was fun, and that was a huge part of the reason why I enjoyed it so much, but that doesn't feel right. Like, I don't think I have a category that I could put Project Hail Mary in. Okay, I'm gonna skip for now and think about it. XOXO is going to be, why do I like XOXO? Oh my god, this is so tough because XOXO is one of those like really unique kind of young adult romances that I really enjoyed, and it's like I didn't enjoy it because of the coming of age aspects, even though those were kind of there, but I think I just enjoyed it because of how freaking cute it was. And I don't have a category for that because that's not oftentimes why I give a book 5 stars. Okay, we're gonna skip. Local Woman Missing was fun. Local Woman Missing was so much fun. One of the most fun thrillers that I've read in a while. Near the Bone was my specific kind of weird, I think. I think a lot of people didn't like Near the Bone because of how, I don't know, almost kind of like how ambiguous and kind of like mysterious the story ends up being. And I think people go into this and they like want a lot of answers about things, but I feel like Near the Bone is just my specific kind of weird. It's like something that I really like. See, People We Meet on Vacation, oof, because it doesn't necessarily fit into my romance category because it's friends to lovers, and friends to lovers is like one of my least favorite romance tropes. This is another one kind of like XOXO where it is the exception to the rule, where like I don't usually like stuff like that, but every now and then stuff like that will get a 5 star from me. Okay, we're gonna skip for now. Hang the Moon. This one definitely can fit into the romance category, I think, because it's like that. I can't remember if they're fake dating in this book. I don't think they are. But this one feels a little bit more forbidden to me for some reason than the other ones. Sweet Hand. Okay, Sweet Hand is one I'm pretty sure where they're fake dating, right? Oh my gosh, I'm like getting them all mixed up now. Sweet Hand, yes, I'm pretty sure Sweet Hand, they're fake dating. Okay, let's see. The Plot was a really fun time. I feel like The Plot has one of the most unique premises for a thriller that I've ever read, and I had a great time with it. What If You and Me? Okay, this is another romance where it's mainly like the close proximity that I love the most, and it wasn't necessarily roommates to lovers, but they were like next door neighbors, and it's really cute because he's a firefighter and then she is a horror author. Like, she writes horror books. Okay, and then The Book of Accidents definitely was my specific kind of weird. This book was a horror book that kind of like leaned into some other genres at times, and it was just very unique and very interesting. Okay, Comfort Me with Apples is another one that's definitely my specific kind of weird. This one's a horror novella. All right, and then Rock, Paper, Scissors. It was just a fun time. Rock, Paper, Scissors had some of my favorite plot twists at the end of a book that I've ever read. Cursed Bunny is definitely my specific kind of weird. That is a collection of short stories, and most of them are more like on the horror side of things, but there are some that lean more a little bit like sci-fi. Cursed Bunny was just a really weird time. Definitely not gonna be a book that works for everyone, but I freaking loved it. All right, A Dowry of Blood, I think had some of the most beautiful writing that I've ever read in my freaking life, which is very unique, you know, because A Dowry of Blood is a vampire kind of like horror book, and it was not anything like what I was expecting, because I think A Dowry of Blood has some of the most gorgeous writing, like the freaking prose. Oh my gosh, A History of Wild Places. Okay, this is one that I do struggle with the category too, because A History of Wild Places, it's like the main reason why I love the book so much is because of the atmosphere, which I guess I could put down for like beautiful writing, right? If like the atmosphere is really good, then it means that I really love the way that it was written. So I guess that feels right that I would put it in the most beautiful writing, right? I think that makes sense in my brain. Oh my god, and then we have the Charm Offensive, and this is definitely a situation where it's like a forbidden romance, you know, because we're following these two men. One of them is essentially like the Bachelor, and then it's about how he's falling for a guy who's like a producer on the show. Oh my god, I'm obsessed with the Charm Offensive. It's one of my favorites of all time. Okay, the Romantic Agenda. This is another situation where it's a relatable protagonist for me, because this is one of the only, if not the only, romance book that I've ever read that features an asexual main character. Like, how cool is that? I love the Romantic Agenda. Okay, and then Razorblade Tears. This is one, honestly, this is one that made me cry. That's the main reason why it's in my top favorite books of all time. I mean, Razorblade Tears is a really intense and brutal and action-packed thriller, but it's about these two guys who are, you know, like they're ex-cons, and they find out that their gay sons have recently been like brutally killed for being gay. And so it's kind of about how these two dads take it upon themselves to like get revenge against the people who killed their sons. And it's a very, you know, brutal and bloody and violent thriller, but like, holy shit, did it make me cry. Okay, and the Notes on an Execution, holy shit, this has got to be some of the most beautiful writing that I've ever read in my freaking life. It was in my top 2 favorite books of last year, so like, it's got to be the most beautiful writing. I also think We Spread, I would also put this one, okay, see, I want to put it in beautiful writing, but I also want to put it in had something to say about humanity and like how we treat the elderly, and like, this book just really hurt me in every way, because I mean, it was my favorite book that I read last year, so this book is so special to me. And I think at the end of the day, the reason why it was a 5-star for me was because it impacted me so freaking much. And I think it's because it has something to say about humanity. Not that it makes fun of humanity, but that it has something to say about humanity. Okay, Book Lovers. Why do I love Book Lovers? I kind of want to put it in the like romance kind of category, but I also kind of want to put it in like great sister relationship, because at the end of the day, like, I think Book Lovers, why it's my favorite so much, well, god, I also want to put it in relatable protagonist. I actually might put it in relatable protagonist, because I think at the end of the day, why I love Book Lovers as much as I do, because even though it has a lot of things that I really love, like the romance is fucking top tier in Book Lovers, but also like the sister relationship is really adorable and I love that. But at the end of the day, it is the relatability that is Nora, the protagonist. I love that she is just very like career focused. She loves the city, and like, I don't know, there's just a lot of things about her that I just really remember connecting with, and I think that's why Book Lovers will always be my favorite Emily Henry. Oh my gosh, okay, The Dead Romantics. This is definitely one that made me cry. God, The Dead Romantics is such a beautiful and such a unique romance book. I would highly recommend it if you have not read it. Okay, now we have Daisy Darker, Alice Feeney. This is definitely one where it was fun. I just had such a good time. The book had great atmosphere. It was fast-paced. It was a good time. And then A Monster Calls. This is definitely one that also made me cry. A Monster Calls. This is a book that I've read 2 or maybe 3 times now, and A Monster Calls just gets to me every fucking time. Okay, so now we've reached the end, kind of, where I have 6 books that are left over. I couldn't fit into any of these categories, and I think in my head I know the reason for why these won't fit into my categories, but it's also cool to know that I can give books 5 stars for like any number of different reasons. It doesn't even have to fit into those 10 categories. Like, for example, Stolen Tongues, Pet Sematary, and The Patient. All 3 of these books scared the shit out of me. Like, quite literally, these were some of the scariest books that I've ever read in my life, and they were 5 stars because they were the scariest books that I've ever read in my freaking life. And I think these 3 books, you know, they scared me for different reasons. I think The Patient, it's one of those books where I was reading it in the dark and I was actually terrified. Like, I had to sleep with the freaking lights on. And then same with Stolen Tongues. Like, that was a book that I was reading really late into the night. Oh my god, hell no. It had all of my biggest like things that really freak me out and scare me. Whereas like Pet Sematary by Stephen King, it's not necessarily like one of the scariest like books that I've ever read, but the reason why it's a 5-star for me is because the idea of this book is just so scary, and it's honest, and it's like one of those books that has like a lot of real life horror. Like, these are real fears that you have, like losing your loved ones and not being able to move on and like deal with that grief. Like, that is a real fear. That's what makes Pet Sematary so scary for me, and I would definitely categorize these all the same. same as like, these are books that scared the shit out of me, and a book like that is easy 5 stars for me. And then we have Project Hail Mary, which, you know, this one is hard to categorize why I loved it so much. I feel like if I had a category that just said I'm obsessed with the characters, like I think the characters are so great and so well written, and it was just a very fun, unique experience. I've never read anything like this. I feel like it's almost maybe even a better thing when I can't fit a book into like a perfect category of why it works for me. I think that makes it even more special, right? Because I'm like, I can't even explain why this book is 5 stars for me. I just loved it so much, and there's really nothing like it. I think XOXO is another situation that I do feel that about. Like, I just really loved the characters. I just really adored the story. It's not often, you know, that I will read a young adult book and think, I think this is so cute and so adorable that it's worthy of 5 stars. Like, that rarely ever happens to me in my life. And then same with People We Meet on Vacation. This is one of those rare times where it's one of my least favorite romance tropes, but it ends up being a 5 star anyway. Like, another book that I can think of that's kind of like this, because it's like friends to lovers, is the Bromance Book Club. You know, the first book in that series. It's one of my least favorite tropes because it's like a second chance romance, and like that's one of my least favorite romance tropes to read about. I don't know why, I just don't usually enjoy it. Same with the book Before I Let Go. That one's another like second chance romance book that ended up being 5 stars for me, but it's like sometimes my least favorite romance tropes, I still read them every now and then, because this happens sometimes where I get 5-star reads out of my least favorite tropes. So yeah, this is a quick look at all of the different categories and what ended up falling into each category. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, that Unhinged Characters and Mad Women doesn't have more books in this category, but I know that if I was able to fit more books onto this, I feel like I would have more, you know, books that would go onto this list, because, you know, like the first book in the Joe Goldberg trilogy, that would definitely be an unhinged character that would go into that category. I also think if I had put the book So Happy For You on this list, then that would also go into like an Unhinged Characters, Mad Women kind of category as well. All right, so that is going to be a wrap on today's video. This was so much fun trying to, you know, navigate specifically why a book can be 5 stars for me. Again, I will have all of the other creators linked down below that I've seen do this kind of video, just because I do think it's really fun to see all the kinds of different reasons why anybody would give a book 5 stars. But yeah, I had a super fun time making this, and I know at least Kayla has done a video that's like a 1-star audit, which is kind of like the reverse, where you know, think about like reasons you give a book 1 star and then kind of do a video just like this, but the reverse, where you just like think, why do I give a book 1 star? Like, what are the different reasons? And then we figure that out. So I guess you could let me know if that would be something you'd be interested in seeing from me, like doing a 1-star audit and trying to figure out the reasons why I end up giving books 1 star. It might be interesting, I don't know. But let me know what you think of that, and let me know if you enjoyed this video. I would love to know if you have any, you know, reasons why you give books 5 stars, kind of like these, and what kind of categories would you pick for yourself to put these books into. I would love to know. And also, if you have any book recommendations for me based off of any of these like categories of things that I really love and look for in books, then of course I would love to know if you would drop them down below. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye.